Anyone who's ever made a movie is my influence, no matter how crappy it is or not. I used to rent movies that were sometimes, thought of as terrible. And I'd rent them and be like, guys, you have to see this. And we'd watch. They started calling them Kallio classics because they wouldn't particularly rent them. But I see something in everything I see, no matter how bad or how good it is.
So I was telling Mike in the car what movie you had me watch for your podcast, and what did he say? Go.
Velocipaster is a masterpiece.
Absolutely is a masterpiece.
But he knows it well.
Oh, okay.
I know it because of the aesthetic. $35,000. Okay. Still want to know what they did with the other $33,000. But
that was my joke on the way out.
That was his joke on the way out. But I'm thinking cocaine. But the weird thing about that movie is the guy who plays, I can't remember the actor's name or the actress.
Eastwood?
Yeah, Shecky Eastwood. The guy who plays the Velocipaster and the hooker with the heart of gold have the greatest chemistry for like a really low budget movie.
Yeah,
at least Brian was saying that he doesn't remember the guy being all that great, but I
remember her being very good.
Yeah.
A masterpiece. It's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
The director, if you're listening right now, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm all cracked out on Frappuccino.
I thought you'd have more to say. I thought this was when you would kick in. I said, Zach's going to want to talk about this. Zach's like,
I love Velocipaster. I mean, it's a work of art. It's a masterpiece. What else is there to say about it?
I think they spent most of the money going to China to the forest where he got.
You mean China? You mean Griffith Park?
Oh no, that wasn't cool enough to be Griffith Park. That was like Arroyo Grande or something.
Someone's yard in Rancho Cucamonga.
Yeah.
Their large backyard.
Yeah.
Just don't shoot the pool. Shoot around the pool.
Yes.
Are you excited for the sequel?
I've heard there's going to be a sequel. Is that really going to happen though? It's
not going to be a direct Velocipaster 2. It's something with like Dracula and a lesbian, and I read a short article about it like 3 or 4 months ago, and I don't really remember.
Heard about it. Zach's writing it.
Oh yeah, I remember me and my friend talked about making a movie called Time Travel Hookers from Mars or something like that.
Okay.
Wait. Mike made a movie from Mars.
Oh, yeah? Even Swinger from Mars. It didn't have hookers in it, but it should have.
Time travel hookers, though.
Well, do you pay extra for that?
It's where they have.
I do.
It depends, because what's the exchange rate between time?
They come back from the time when they found a cure for AIDS.
Yeah.
Kool-Aids?
No condoms.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, Mike.
Okay, good night.
Thanks for coming out. It's been wonderful.
Nice to have you here.
So, were you born in Detroit?
Yes, actually, I was born downtown.
Yeah?
I believe at Henry Ford Hospital.
Really?
Yeah.
Was Henry there at the time?
Probably on his deathbed. I don't know. When did Henry Ford die?
I don't know. He was alive.
So you gotta get on that. Google that shit.
He was alive long enough to...
he's got the Google ready and everything. I see it on the screen.
He was alive long enough to really berate his son for everything he did.
True. But now, Scott, why don't we have a robot go, Alexa, when did Henry Ford die? And then it talks back to us and plans to kill us.
He died in 47?
It's a long-ass time ago.
I was not born in 1947. I was born a couple of years later.
For some reason,
in
I thought
1971.
Oh, he was 83. Oh, boy. So he was born. way into
the ghost of Henry Ford was around when I was born.
Yeah.
So
he helped birth you.
Yeah, he was born in 64.
My mom's Lamaze coach. Who's your Lamaze coach, Mom?
Is my OC...
Oh, the ghost of Henry Ford. That's weird.
Is my OCD right? He was born in 64?
1864.
So he died before his birthday, but I was right on the year.
That's cool.
Just in the OCD math. So you're born in Henry Ford Hospital?
Mm-hmm. At 3:25 in the morning, which is why I'm a night owl.
Well, I was born at 9:10, and I'm a night owl.
I don't know why you guys know what time you were born. Like,
that's because our parents weren't high.
Well, no, my mom wasn't high at the time. At the time,
my mom was not smoking PCP at the time.
Well,
Oh, I thought you meant like weed. PCP. My mom was always on PCP.
Where else am I going to get my PCP from?
Your mom's from from the sack. Man, that blew the bit. Let's cut that.
Wait a minute.
It was from the
sack. Is this biology class now?
no,
All of a
it's
sudden?
from the fucking
Placenta?
yes. That's where you get it from.
That's what the P in PCP stands for.
Yes,
It's
placenta. We're gonna cut that, and then we're just gonna jump into. Yeah,
If anyone's listening, please, for the love of God, help me.
Mike, it's a little early for that.
Oh, plus it's not live.
No,
I'm
no, it's not.
crying out to nobody.
Born in Detroit, grew up in the city. You grew up,
Outside of Detroit,
yeah.
a little township called Redford, where
Wow.
there's not much. I'm trying to think of imports and exports that Redford provides, but it's
Robert?
probably no, not even that cool. Not just sadness, probably. The export is,
Export is sadness.
and the import is desperation.
Right.
I guess. I don't know.
So, what did your folks do? Were they artistic?
I don't know about my father. I did not have a father figure growing up. He decided to be a deadbeat dad prior to my birth.
Well,
No, my mom worked for the phone company.
right.
She worked for Michigan Bell for years, and she knit. I guess her artistic outlet was sewing and knitting and crocheting. She made a lot of my crazy costumes for movies I made when I was a kid and things
That's
like
cool.
that. So yeah, she was creative, but just in a different way than I was.
Well, right, but she was supportive and she was
Absolutely,
creative. Oh,
absolutely.
that's really cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Raised by mom and grandma. And so grandma would shoot the film. We'd go on vacation every year, and mom would take photos, and grandma would shoot Super 8 or regular 8mm.
Really?
And then at 6 years old, I was like, "Hey, you got any film left in that camera, grandma?" And she would reluctantly hand a 6-year-old a very expensive Super 8 camera, and
Right.
I'd do dumb stuff with it and shoot dumb little things with it. So that's how it all started.
Now, how was her eye when she was recording stuff? Was it she get some good stuff or?
It's a lot of it is blurry home movie stuff. Yeah. But there's some good stuff. I've been recently transferring everything over to digital, and there's some really good stuff there. There's a lot of not so good stuff.
Well,
And it started with my grandfather. My grandfather bought a regular 8 camera back in the late 50s, and some of he had a signature thing where he would be filming and then he would turn the camera upside down so it would be shooting up his nose. So you would know when a reel would be coming to an end because you'd see up my grandfather's schnoz.
well, something John Waters would make. So
Very much so.
so you had the bug at that age.
6 years old. It was because of Star Wars, like a lot of filmmakers nowadays. Saw Star Wars when I was 6, and my mom said, "What did you think of the movie?" And I was like, "I want to do that." She said, "Go to space?" I said, "No, I want to make movies about people who go to space, who hang out in space." And that was the catalyst of most of it. That damn Star War.
Yeah. Well,
That'll do it.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
yeah. Did you find like-minded people growing up?
Like-minded people. Yeah, I mean, all of the people that I ended up making movies with as a kid was me more or less going like, we're making a movie this weekend and you're going to play this character and you're going to play this character. And they were all like, okay. That's kind of how it started. And
Right.
then as I got older and as the filmmaking thing got more serious, I started to find like-minded people. But a lot of those like-minded people, unfortunately, tried to push me aside and start doing their own thing. But I'm still making movies, and none of them are.
Well, yeah. A lot of that happens with people who have no talent and they see something happening and then they want to say, I did that.
Right.
Yeah. Zak
So-
did that with us a few times over
Yeah.
at the school.
Yeah.
Best thing Kyle Lally ever did was playing with the he have on the hands and he was climbing under
They
the
climbed under the stall in the bathroom.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he was on the ground. Yeah.
yeah. That was the most commitment.
Yeah,
I've
that
ever
was
seen.
that was a good one. That was a good one.
Climbing around a bathroom stall on the ground.
He
Yeah,
was
while he was shitting.
yeah, he was some sort of
Minion.
he had claws for hands.
No, he didn't
or-
have claws. I had the claws.
But did he have a mask on?
yes, he had a he had a mask and he had a what the fuck was it called? A fanny pack on his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is highly disconcerting.
Yeah. There was a shitty web series that we called Kramer McFetus Claw Enforcement.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Remind me to check that out.
Don't.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Not going to.
Does not exist.
Yeah.
We deleted it all.
Did you have other interests? Other artistic interests?
Yeah, I mean, I sang in bands in high school.
Oh, okay.
And I used to draw. I used to do special effects.
Okay.
A lot of it revolves around just entertainment in general.
Right.
But a lot of it was just my love for movies.
Right.
And that was another thing. My mom loved movies, and my grandma loved movies. And like my mom working for the phone company, she'd get 2 weeks off for Christmas, 3 weeks off for Christmas, 2-3 weeks off for the summer. There are days where we would get up at 9 a.m., 9 a.m., have breakfast either at the house or out. We'd go to a multiplex, find a mall, and plan the day. We're going to see these 2 movies. We're going to go to lunch. We're going to see these 2 movies. We're going to go to dinner or go home for dinner.
Right.
And we would marathon movies all day.
Okay.
Because my mom didn't get a chance, being a working mom, she didn't get a chance to, she didn't get a chance to go to the movies
Right.
as often as she would have liked. So we'd just do marathon days. And that was always fun. See movies, see 4 or 5 movies at a time in a row.
Yeah.
In a day.
Yeah. We used to do that because nobody had air conditioning back when I first moved out to Studio City, out of Hollywood and the West Side, moved to Studio West Side. You can't spell West without the ES. East Side.
This
Yeah,
show
so
about
we-
gangs, Scott?
So
Okay.
we used to take the bus from Laurel Canyon to Moore Park up to Victory where the multiplex was, and we just sit in there all day going from theater to theater because it was air conditioned.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
I got lucky back, this was probably high school. Yeah, it was 87. Because the mall that I would hang out at frequently had just gotten a new AMC. And I befriended this senior ticket taker, and I would walk up to him and he would go, "What movie you seeing today, Mike?" And pretend to tear a ticket, and I would just walk in for free.
Wow.
Which is why I ended up seeing Lost Boys, RoboCop, and a few other things in the 87 multiple times. I think I saw RoboCop probably 30 or 40 times in the theater.
Really?
Yeah. So suck it, Orion.
It was pretty cool.
That's
back
probably
then.
why they went bankrupt, because
Yeah. Because you were never paying.
I was never paying. I paid for it once.
That guy wasn't charging anybody.
Well, for some reason, it was like me and my friends.
Right?
It was one of those Thursday night sneak preview nights. We were
Right.
all standing in line. We were first in line. It was like 8 or 9 of us. And we just started chatting this guy up and, befriended this lovely senior gentleman who let us sneak into the movies all the time.
Did you have to reach into his pocket for a Reese's peanut butter cup or anything?
I don't know. Did I?
You saw a lot of movies.
Isn't that a little private?
Saw a lot of movies.
No, it was a huge private. You know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
No, they didn't have molestation back then.
Well, I beg to differ. I was in the Boy Scouts.
So was I. Wait.
Yeah.
Suddenly a flashback and a mental breakdown.
So last podcast we had John Devilman, excellent tattoo artist who has 0 tattoos, but he said that he used to draw, and that would people would take notice of him. He'd make friends that way. He was in the military, went many places. Did you ever have that in school?
Actually, I was a pretty good artist in school. It would hold the bullies at bay in a weird way.
Well, it's kind of
They
like
would be like, "Draw this thing for me, or I'll kick the crap out of you." And I'm like, "All right," and I'd draw it for him. But the problem was, the teacher knew who drew it because I had a particular style.
right.
I could only draw one way. So I'd hand them over and kind of warn them, like, "She's going to know who did this." They're like, "Shut up. Kick your ass." So, yeah, it was a way to make friends,
Yeah. Okay.
know,
Well, that's cool.
or at least keep from getting my ass kicked.
Well, that's cool also. That a lot of comics started that way with making them laugh so they didn't get their ass kicked. So in high school, did you find a group of like-minded people?
Not at first. I went to an all-guy Catholic school in Redford, just a couple miles from where I grew up. It wasn't until junior or senior year that I started meeting people who were like doing movie stuff, and we started hanging out and making stuff. But the freshman and sophomore years was really kind of just trying to survive
Right.
and kind of feel out that, again, all guy Catholic school, feel out. There was no molestation back then.
In a Catholic school, I guess not.
At least not in the one I got. Maybe I wasn't attractive enough. I don't know. But yeah, I found like-minded people, but it took a minute. Which, what can you do?
So in the beginning, were you always going to be the director?
I've always been the director.
Okay.
And I liked acting too. I think the longest movie I did as a kid, I was 11 or 12. I did a Indiana Jones movie before they were called fan films. And I was Indy, of course. And my mom was the cinematographer. And my cousins were the bad guys. And my next door neighbor was the main bad guy. And we shot it as we went. I had stuff written down, but it was really just kind of like, let's just shoot this thing. I got the fedora and I had a whip. And there's a movie poster online somewhere with me and the whole getup. And yeah, I would make my mom take publicity stills, which is where the movie poster came from.
Right.
She's like, well, publicity stills for who? I'm like, you never know. We might be showing this movie at a theater soon. It's
You
like
never do know.
my 12-minute Super 8 Indiana Jones movie.
Who edited it?
I did.
How?
The whole little reel-to-reel.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I did it all. And to this day, I'm still kind of doing it all.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I still act when I can, and just because that's fun for me. That's my hobby, weirdly enough, is it still revolves around the movie business, but I wouldn't call myself a professional actor or an actor in general. I'm a factor, a fake actor.
Well, and then did you go to film school? Did you take it in college? Did you go to college?
I went to college. I went to Oakland Community College in Farmington Hills, Michigan for maybe 2 years. I took all the easy stuff because being an artist, I took art classes just because I knew A's, B's.
That's really all you can go to community college is 2 years.
Well, I wasn't going full time.
Oh, okay.
And my mom was like, you should get an associate's degree. And they had film programs at the school. But the first program was Intro to Film. And I'm like, I don't need that. So watching movies and critiquing them. Mm-hmm. I've been doing that since I was 4. 3. My first movie was Bambi at the Livonia Mall.
Yeah.
Livonia Mall Cinemas. I stood the entire time, pissing the young couple who were trying to make out during it the entire time, like going, what's happening? Are you guys paying attention to this shit? Basic cinematography was the second film class. That was shooting a Super 8 movie. I've been doing that since I was 6.
Right.
So I went right to advanced cinematography, and we made a film collectively. And I always ended up being the guy they looked to direct. I was always, even if like someone else was picked to direct that day, I'd be like, so how are you going to do this? Know what I'd do. And I'd make recommendations. They just finally got sick of me and were like, here, you just do it. But then I went backwards. Then I took basic cinematography and then intro to film. Because again, easy grades. But I never got a degree.
Right.
I never got an associate's degree. I just dropped out and raised money and made a movie. Like the guys who did the original Evil Dead.
Oh, really? That was Sam Raimi?
Sam Raimi, Rob Tappert, and Bruce Campbell. They dropped out of college themselves. And Sam and Rob were going to Michigan State. Bruce was going to Western near Grand Rapids. They just dropped out and raised money. That's kind of what I did. I followed in their footsteps. And then I eventually got in touch with Bruce and latched onto him like the devil and was like, show me how you did this. And he took me under his wing and became kind of a mentor to me, which I was very lucky.
You've been watching Brian Lally, Hollywood Native. Now I want to talk to you about something I'm really passionate about, and that's teaching acting. So I co-founded LOLAS Acting School with my son, Kyle Lally, Lally Acting School. I've been acting for a long time now. I have 100+ credits on IMDb. Hundreds of plays I've been involved with over the years, and I just want to share that experience with you.
What we do differently here at LOLAS is we give you practical advice that you can use on a movie set, on a play, an audition, anywhere. We give you the foundation to build yourself as a great actor.
If you come to us, you don't know anything, We can teach you everything you need to know to be comfortable on a set and to excel. Don't just listen to me. Look at what our students are doing. Daryl Wesley, who is writing on 2 hit shows, The Game and The Upshaws, and Ben Barrett, who is a series regular on The Politician. Megan Davis, who is playing Amber Heard in the Johnny Depp Amber Heard story. Come check us out.
I was very lucky because he's had people come to him, just like all of those guys, help me make a movie, and none of them stuck with it.
Right.
But I
Oh,
did.
yeah. Yeah. No, I understand that. Yeah. Yeah, that's why it's hard for a lot of people in the position of mentoring to take people seriously. No, I've seen that. And it's true because people then just poop out.
Yeah, Bruce gave me every 2 years, would call it the flake test
Yeah.
to see if I was going to flake or not, and I never did. And now he's stuck with me. Now we're practically family.
Right.
So,
I've seen students that I've had that have worked so hard and get to a certain level, and everything's coming together. One, she worked for this small scene, and then she had worked with the casting director's assistant in a workshop, and she came back and she goes, no, you're reading for the lead sister, and we're going to get you this manager was down the hall, and it all came together. And she said, okay, I'm going to go to New York, and I'm going to get a job ushering at the movie theater.
Well, I'm proud of her for doing that.
Kimmy.
Oh.
But I've seen, Mike, I've seen people work so hard and become really good actors that could be working actors and then just disappear.
it's the fear. I call it the fear. They don't know if they could handle the success. They don't know if they could handle the...
I understand that there was a disconnect and they had to go. I understand that. But I got these people on short films and scenes recorded on stage, that we turned into short films where their family didn't even recognize them. They became so good in these characters. And then they're like, yeah.
Not for me.
Anyway, I'll tell you who surprised me, honestly. Zak. I didn't expect Zak to be where he is in filmmaking and creating. So he surprised me. So
What surprised me about Zach is his shirt.
Yeah, I wore this on purpose.
I love Critters.
Yep, same here.
That's a good shirt.
Yep.
Oh,
Where'd
so-
you get it?
Creepy Company.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I grew up on Critters. It was one of my favorites as a kid.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, love it.
What about Critters 4?
When I was a kid, I loved it, but as I got older, it doesn't make any sense at all. Just in space.
What about the one they did recently for, was it Netflix?
I think it was Shudder. I haven't seen it.
Oh, Shudder, that's right.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
he doesn't want to
Not-
be disappointed.
Not a true Critters fan, apparently.
Well, there was a series also. I don't even know what happened to that. I think it disappeared off the face of the earth.
Rightly so.
Was
Like,
it that bad? Yeah.
It was not great.
Okay.
But Critters 1 and 2,
Yeah.
the main course.
Yeah.
I always torture my wife with that. Jessica's like, what do you want to watch tonight? I'm like, Critters 2, the main course. She's like, no. I'm like, yes.
It is.
Critters 2, the main course. Because, Jessica, this is what happens. They eat people, and we're the main course.
Mm-hmm.
And then she tells me to fuck off. But anyway,
To serve man
that's
is a cookbook.
by the way, I always have to do this. College mating call.
Nice.
Beautiful.
This is a non-alcoholic beverage, just so you folks just listening know. Critters. Fucking Critters.
Yeah, the practical effects in it are great.
The
Chiodo brothers. Chiodos?
some say Kyoto, some say Chiodo. I think it's Kyoto.
I'm not really sure. I
But-
just know there was a band named after them, and everyone that I knew called them Chiodo, or Chiodos, or something like that.
Well, if they're listening, we're sorry for fucking up your name, especially Charlie. Charlie's the oldest one, and he gets cranky. Sorry, Charlie.
Now, these are directors or these the effects guy?
Well, they've done both. I'm just going to call them the Kyotos.
Okay.
The Kyotos classic film that they made as brothers, as a family, is Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Mm.
A cinematic tour de force. And for some crazy reason, when it was released in Michigan, it was released in dollar theaters first. Never played mainstream theaters. It was like, I remember the Terrace Cinema across the street from the AMC mall I would go to. The Terrace was an old school kind of one building theater. It had a couple of theaters in it, but in the beginning it just had one theater. It's where I saw Empire Strikes Back in 1980. But then they remodeled and split it into 2 or 3 theaters, and Killer Clowns was in the smallest theater. And I saw it opening day, that Friday, and I'm still waiting for the TV series that they keep talking about. And the video game.
We'll see.
There's a video game that's going to drop
It keeps
any day
getting
now.
pushed back, right? Or is it finally coming out?
I think it's finally coming out in October.
Okay.
I'll be all over that, even though I'm not really a gamer.
Should be fun.
Yeah, beating up clowns, or you can play a clown and beat up humans.
Yeah.
I'm all about that shit.
Yeah, same.
So, I saw Return of the Jedi.
It was a sneak preview, wasn't it?
It was a sneak preview. If I haven't told you the story, I guess I told Mike.
I haven't.
I was in the California Conservation Corps. We worked like dogs all week, and they said, who wants to get up at 6 a.m. on Saturday, and we can't tell you what you're doing? And I was pretty much into my alcoholism by that time as a young man. And I just said, I'll go. I said, fuck it. Let's see what happens.
Get in the van, boy.
So we get in the van at 6 a.m. I'm hungover like a bitch. And we drive up to Fisherman's Wharf. We get out, and it says Gandhi on the side of this big theater. And I'm like, well, if they got me up here to see Gandhi, I'm kicking somebody's ass. And we're waiting outside for a couple hours. And they're all Conservation Corps people from centers. They had centers all over, Treasure Island, Yountville. We were down in Santa Clara, and they had them in Santa Cruz. And we're wearing our uniforms. And so...
Is this just Scientology with a different name?
Probably. So I was trying to get clear that day.
By going to see Gandhi?
And finally, they let us in. And there's a dude not too tall with black hair and a beard, and he's handing out pencils and these questionnaires.
Is this man wearing flannel?
He might have been. And I look at him, and I go, I like this close. I'm like, looks like George Lucas.
I may still be drunk, but are you George Lucas?
I didn't say that. I didn't say. He was really excited and really happy everyone was there. And he was handing out pencils and questionnaires. And I was like, this guy made $500 million on his last 2 films, when that was a lot of money. And
well, $500 million is still quite a bit of money. I mean, I'd take half of $500 million.
not when there's films making $2 billion nowadays, and that was for 2 films. So,
yeah, well, George is the most successful independent filmmaker of all time, next to Roger Corman.
So we go in there, and I take a seat on the back, which is kind of like a cushion thing to lay down on. It's a big theater. And then that man with the beard goes up, and this is why I thought of it. He goes up and says, well, we're here to see Bambi Meets Godzilla 2. And we're like, what?
And you were like, this isn't Gandhi? Fuck you people.
Because I'd seen it. And then he says, no, we're here to see the new Star Wars movie. And everybody goes mental. Everybody's like, ah. And it didn't even have the
Effects.
The effects were not finished. So they're going across the desert. And there's nothing there. It's just a soundstage under them. And they go to the, the Sarlacc
Sarlacc pit, yeah.
pit. Sarlacc, people are falling in there. There's nothing in there. Yeah, so we saw it, and to this day, that's my favorite movie. I know people say Empire Strikes Back, but I love Return of the Jedi. It's so funny when he comes out of the carbonite, and he's like, they're like, Luke is a Jedi warrior. And he goes, I get away, and people have delusions of grandeur, or whatever. I just thought that was the funniest line. And so they want the questionnaires turned in. I'm like, I'm not turning this in. And I still got it. I'm like, they want to know what I think about the movie. I think it's fucking fantastic.
Right.
It's a Star Wars movie.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I
wish more people like you had that attitude now with the new Star Wars stuff, because everyone's crying. So sick of the whining. You know what? Don't watch it. If you don't like it, don't watch it.
everything I've watched, I've liked, except the beginning of
Use your adult words.
No, I can't think of it.
Who's in it?
Well, if I knew who was in it, you would know the name of the series. It's the one after Baby Yoda.
Oh, are you talking about the Book of Boba Fett?
Boba Fett, yeah. That's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah, even I bitched about that one.
Yeah, I did
Well,
not like
I heard it got better. I only watched the first two.
It got better because they brought Grogu and Luke Skywalker into it.
Okay, so
And Ahsoka. I used to screw up her name. You know how I remember Ahsoka now? My wife is like, when you go to Boston and it's raining and you step off the curb into a puddle with your shoe, you get Ahsoka.
so
I'm like, damn it, now I'm going to remember her name forever.
So The Mandalorian, I was kind of slow in getting to. Not for any reason, I was just kind of slow. So I was staying at David Nelson's place, who's usually in this seat or has been in that seat before when Zach was on that side. And I was there, and I'm into it a few, and it's really good. You know, it's really good. And they're like, Kyle, my son, keeps calling me, my other son, keeps calling me, and he's like, have you watched the last one yet? And David's in Florida. It's the holidays. And he's like, have you watched the last one yet? I go, what? And so I'm a sucker for this kind of stuff. So it's the final, and he pulls up.
Of course.
And I'm like, no fucking way. I'm like 15 years old. I'm like, no fucking way.
Yeah.
No fucking. And
I did the same thing.
And he plays it so well. He's so fucking good in it. And he gets out, and he's just like a fucking grizzled Jedi. And I'm calling people. I'm like, no fucking way. No fucking way. That is one of the greatest episodes of television I've ever seen.
In history, yeah. I agree. When he lifts that arm and that black gloved hand and the lightsaber ignites green, I went ape shit.
Yeah.
I was watching it alone.
Me too.
I think I cried.
I'm calling people. I'm like, hey, you seen this? Yeah, we seen it. So, oh man.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the second season of Mandalorian, what the fuck are you doing?
Right. Somebody was talking about some film like 30 years later, and someone got mad and said I hadn't seen it. And they go, spoiler alert, it was on 30 years ago.
Yeah. A buddy of mine, Kirk Thatcher, one of his first jobs was gluing teeth into the Sarlacc pit.
Really?
He was an Ewok wrangler. He's since gone on to direct Muppets and things. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
He's designed all the monsters for the movie House with William Catt.
Yeah.
The greatest American hero, the greatest American hero movie ever. House.
But
yeah, the last Muppet thing I think he did was Muppet Haunted Mansion for Disney Plus.
Don't say Muppet Treasure Island.
Why?
Because I didn't like it.
Because
I was so bummed.
He directed that too.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
I was so bummed.
Bummed.
Kyle was little, and we were so excited. The other ones were so great, and then we go to the El Capitan to see Muppet Treasure Island.
Now I have to look this up.
And this is
I believe he directed it.
This is you want to look it up, Scott? Put it on the.
I'm going to beat Scott to it. No, probably not. Muppet Treasure Island.
Man, the boy from Ipanema has to do with Muppet Treasure Island.
Well, we don't want dead air.
Oh, too late for that.
Yeah, but we can cut around that. Meaning Scott
You just
can.
passed it, didn't you?
Not working. My internet's
Director?
not working. Does it say Kirk T. Thatcher?
No, it says Brian Henson.
Oh, there is Kirk T in the writers, though.
Oh, he wrote it.
Yeah. So I got a bone to pick with him. So this is the thing about my son when he was little. What year is that, Scott?
96.
96? Okay, so Kyle was 5. So this thing about my son, if the movie or cartoon or Muppet movie is good, he's in for the duration. If it's bad, he just got up. I'm like, where are you going? He just went out to the lobby. I was so bummed out. So when he was 7 or 8,
he just was like,
yeah,
I'm over it.
I was showing him like Chinatown and Patton and stuff. He's like 8, 9 years old, and he would sit through the whole thing. If it was a good movie, he didn't matter. Chinatown, he's like, yeah, Dad, but there's salt water in that little pond out there. I'm like, what? What? I think I'd seen it 3 times. I didn't get the connection in Chinatown. But, yeah, So Muppet Treasure Island was not a
winner for Kyle.
not a nor
How
for
about,
me.
how about Muppet Chinatown?
Muppet Chinatown, is there one? Or are you going to make it?
There should be.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to call Kirk later after this is over and see if we can get Muppet Chinatown going.
That's Chinatown, Jake.
It would be. That's Chinatown, Kermit.
Well, funny thing is I've worked a couple times with Cody Osnowitz.
Really?
Yes. And his dad is Miss Piggy, Frank Oz.
Oh.
Put that in a form of a question.
Oh?
What is?
What is? Oh? Wait, what?
So Cody's very talented. Did a couple of great shorts.
His old man is pretty talented at stuff, too.
Man.
His old man made Bowfinger.
I was going to say, people don't talk enough about Bowfinger.
Everyone should watch Bowfinger at least once a month.
That's going to be the movie for next week's class. This week was
Muppet Chinatown?
These young people.
How old are you, Zach?
29.
Are you really?
29. When I was your age, I was 32.
Yeah. 29.
Yeah.
29.
When I was your age,
Not even 30.
I was getting arrested for smoking crack.
It's good. That's good.
Life lessons, folks.
Yeah.
By Brian Lally.
Yeah, the Midnight Express is this week's movie for the class. Class has to watch a movie. But next week is Jack L. Warner, The Last Hollywood Mogul. Have you seen that documentary?
No.
Yeah. It just came out, I think, on Prime. There's so many inspirational things that these guys did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't realize they started the movie studios. You know what I mean? I don't know if Carl Laemmle was first or...
I think Laemmle was first.
These guys come...
Most prolific was Laemmle, that's for sure.
Yeah. And Jack and his brother, one of the brothers was born here, and the other two were born in Poland. And they had a different, kind of feel of things. I know Jack Warner was in vaudeville.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a great documentary. Then these guys just decided they made a movie studio. Supposedly not a nice man, but he always had the underdog. Sure. I love the underdog. You know what I mean? So it's a great documentary. These guys took over friggin' Hollywood, man.
I'll have to watch it because watching what's going on with the strikes and stuff, and I'm not a fan of the word content. You're either making a television show or a movie. You're not making content.
I hate that word.
Content sounds like so generic, and these things are pieces of art.
Right.
Yeah, it's like dismissive almost.
Yeah. Helen Mirren, actually, I read an article this morning that said to her it sounds like stuffing in a cushion, in a couch cushion. It's just filler.
Right.
That makes me sad, and I appreciate all like old school Hollywood and that, and it feels like we're getting further and further and further from that. I drove by a billboard today where it said something like Hollywood where dreams are made. And it's like, really? Is that still a thing?
Well,
because it's sad that it's not.
It's funny because AI, and I know it's going to get better, but these people who I'm guessing they don't know how to use it, that they had this narration. Someone was taking a picture of Tobey Maguire. It looked like he was at a King Tut exhibition. And they came around. They said his spidey senses were tingling. And they called him Tobey Maguire. And I'm like, well, it's got to be fucking AI. It's like, you know what I mean? But it was funny because the guy comes around, there's the display, and there's the sarcophagus in there or whatever, and the guy comes around with a camera, and Toby goes, and it was like, yeah, looks like his spider senses were tingling.
Here's the thing with AI. I understand all of the whole scanning actors and using digital versions of actors and not paying them. That's bullshit.
Right, right.
I did Chat GPT or whatever the fuck it is. I told it to write a short 10-page horror script just to see how it would go. And it was shit. It was shit. Because it's not...
I did the best I could.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what happened.
Nothing. It's an inside joke thing.
Oh, okay. It's like NFTs. NFTs were supposed to be the biggest thing since sliced bread. You're going to get your Google goggles, and even saying Google goggles, I feel like a 4-year-old. But Google goggle. you're going to be able to look, and there's going to be all of these crazy, untangible things that you're going to buy, and they're going to be worth money, and you can trade back and forth. Why would I want that? Why would I spend any amount of money on something I can't touch or enjoy in the real world? Like, this is the real world still, right? I know some people I know will be like, nope, this is the Matrix. We're in a video game.
I think I heard something today about NFTs making a comeback.
Well, no, I'm sure they say that all the time.
Yeah. No, I don't know nothing about it. I never bought an NFT.
Just like old Coke. Yeah, that made a comeback.
Well.
Not cocaine.
Oh.
Old Coca-Cola. I don't think AI and the writing, and you're not going to get the same acting ability from a digital character that you are.
No.
The best digital characters are mocapped, and you have the Andy Serkises of this world who can perform and use. Then the special effects people use that tool. These are tools. They shouldn't be used as anything but.
Here's the unfortunate thing about the future. In 2 or 3 generations, when they only see the AI characters, they won't know that something's better unless they get hip to it by their parents and grandparents. They show them an old movie.
Look,
and,
I sort of understand what you're saying, but there will always be those movies.
I hope so. Mike, I'm not against it.
I know you're not.
For it.
I know you're not.
I'm just saying, if they put it out there to the masses, because the masses are lemmings, and they'll just watch what's put out there, and there'll be people like you and me and Zach and Kyle, and there's going to be people that know that there's something out there and want to watch these better things.
And that's going to continue to happen.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody in their right mind would completely go, oh, that's acceptable. People are bitching about crappy CGI all the time.
Right.
That's the other reason.
Yeah.
That's the other reason I know as a society that there's a slight chance of hope in this industry is because anybody and everybody has an outlet to bitch about, oh, the effects in Ahsoka were better. You step off a curb into a puddle in Boston, it's Ahsoka. Get it? Get it? You can cut that if you want, but I don't think you should. These are all tools that, people are bitching about bad CGI in the newest Matrix movie that came out on, was it Netflix that released that thing, or it escaped, or whatever it did. There's going to be too many people bitching about that kind of stuff where nothing is going to be good enough. So they're not going to accept AI, and they're still going to want to see real people doing, like, acting and performing. The whole, give me a second. Can't think of what it's called. Hologram. The whole hologram thing.
Yeah.
People are like, the hologram thing's the next big thing. There's going to be new concerts with Elvis and Tupac and this dead person and that dead person. That shit isn't happening because no one wants to pay $250 to see a hologram. They want to see real people perform. And I just think that's it's in our nature. Right. It's in our nature that we want performances. We want that human connection and performances. If it gets to the point where some of these kids are so brain dead that they can't have an interhuman connection, then we might as well take them out back time to a tree and shoot them in the fucking brain pan because it's over for society at that point.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're going to become a society full of sheep, even though we sort of are. But
just depends on if Disney can keep making money on it, then they'll do it.
Before anything happens, Walt Disney's going to come back from the grave and start kicking some people's asses because
they froze his head.
They did freeze his head. We just stick it on a robot. Scott, get on that way, please. Okay, thank you. I think that we have bigger fish to fry in this industry, like paying people.
You ever want to try plant-based eating?
I have.
What, you're a little confused, overwhelmed, you don't know how to get started?
Definitely.
Well, there's a simple answer to that. Go to Debbie Chew's Chew On Vegan YouTube channel. Debbie Chew is a plant-based RN. I've known Debbie for over 38 years, and she's very good at what she does. You go to the channel, and there's over 300 recipes. They're simple, easy to make, and they're delicious. If you want to try it, you just might get healthy. Give it a shot. Chew On Vegan. Yeah.
I think the AI thing is a distraction. The greed and people getting what is rightly theirs is what really needs to happen in this.
I've talked about this maybe even on here about it happened when ESPN and MTV came along. They're like, we're this tiny cable channel. We can't pay you the same residuals as we do. Well, now that ESPN's in 70 countries or whatever it is, that you still don't get paid Class A National to do a commercial that's played on ESPN. And they can play it as many times as they want it.
Yep.
And pay you a small amount of money.
Tonight on Roundtable. When was the last writer's strike? 2008? 2007?
Something like that, yeah.
These companies were in their infancy, these streaming companies.
Mm-hmm.
It's over. You're not infants anymore.
Right.
You're conglomerates.
Right.
You're corporations. From what you tell us, you're not making any money. Bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
You're making money. You're just not giving it out the way you should be. You're not allocating it for the people who make your product.
I don't know, they may have more now. At one time, Netflix had 200 million subscribers at $10 a month.
No,
and
it's 15.
It's like 20 now. It's like
Yeah.
$19.99 for the 4K HD or something like that.
Yeah, but I got the minimum. But there's that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that might even be 12 now.
Well, I only pay
What-
$5. I'm like, fuck them. I'm not getting all my money.
So whatever the average is, if it's $10, that would be $2 billion a month.
I'm still waiting for my DVD to show up in the mail.
I remember I was high rolling. I was getting 8 at a time because I wanted to watch 24. You know, you were supposed to
row?
watch it 24 in 24 hours. That was pretty fun.
So again, the DVD model.
Mhm.
Blu-rays are coming back. DVDs are coming back. They're making a resurgence. Vinyl's huge.
Yeah.
People are collecting VHS tapes again. Companies
I
are
heard
releasing
about
VHS
that. I
tapes.
just gave away like my Star Wars. I had all these old VHS, you know.
You gave away your VHS of Star Wars, which was probably not the special edition.
It was a special edition.
Oh, all right, and you give that away.
Huh? Okay. Oh.
Who did you give it to? Just a homeless person?
Yeah.
Here, they were like, we don't want that shit.
I was like, here, trade it for a burger.
Now, see, here it's me bitching about the special edition. It's Star Wars. Kallio, get over it. Oh, wait, that's me.
That is you. So let's get back to you filmmaking. After high school, college, you took some classes, and then how much longer were you in Michigan before you found your way out here?
I shot my first movie in August of 1995. I shot a second movie late 97, early 98.
Which is the one with Jack Black?
White.
Jack White.
The one with Jack Black? I don't know. Did I make a movie with Jack Black? I would've
Okay,
remembered.
Mike. Which was the one with Jack White?
Mutant Swinger from Mars,
Right.
which was my second movie.
Okay.
And it was before Jack White was Jack White.
Right.
He was just Jack White.
Yeah.
Or John Gillis,
Oh, well.
his real name. Actually, it's funny. I just saw his contract the other day. And it's John. He signed it John Gillis, and it's in parentheses. And Jack White is the name he wanted to go by.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I met him as Jack. Yeah, so I shot that late 97, early 98. I did a few other things, shorts and music videos, and worked on a bunch of stuff. Got married, got divorced, moved out here in 2004.
Okay. When did I take you to the AFM?
2005?
Was it?
Might have been 2005, 2006.
Our buddy Eric Edwards, who was he was the last. Yeah, John Devilman was the day before Eric Edwards. Our friend Eric Edwards called me. I said, got a buddy who needs to get to ride to the AFM. I said, sure, I'll take him. And that's where we met.
That's right. I
Yeah.
thought we met prior to that.
Did we?
I want to say we met at one of Eric's shows.
Okay, because I didn't think I knew you at that time. Is
Well, we
that
got-
before you had done Koreatown?
God, I don't know. It's all bong resin and barley melting this brain down. I don't know. I don't know if it was prior or after. I think,
Look up Mike Kallio, Koreatown.
well, no, don't look that shit up. I think I was going to AFM for Koreatown.
Were you?
I
Okay.
think so.
So that was in 2004 or before?
It would have been 2005 or 2006. 2005. Well, the release date might be different.
Right.
That might be 2007 or 2008.
Yeah, because the one you did with Jack White took years to be put together. As a lot of
Actually,
films do.
here's the thing. It didn't take that long to put the movie together. The movie was kind of done. It just took a long time to sell it. Because I shot it in black and white, mainly. 16 millimeter black and white. Because I wanted to follow in the steps of Mel Brooks. They were like, shoot Young Frankenstein in color. He was like, no, It's got to be black and white, like the original Frankenstein. Tim Burton. They told him to shoot Ed Wood in color. He said, no. My DP said, we should probably shoot Mutant Swinger from Mars in color. I said, no. I just bought a bunch of 16 millimeter black and white.
Right.
So, aesthetically.
Wait, did you listen to him and not me when I said look up Mike Kallio? There's a disturbance in the force. Luke.
You'll get whipped later? I'll make sure he's gentle. Gentle and caring.
I did drive around the Cinerama Dome at the when
You can cut all this dead air out. It's a beautiful thing.
2007.
Okay.
well, that was the release date.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I don't remember that movie all that well. All I remember is that it took a year to make. Off and on.
Yeah.
Which is really hard to do.
Now, which is the one? It was for Mutant Swingers from Mars. I went up and was the scientist up at the Griffith Park Observatory.
So it wasn't specifically for the movie. In 2009,
Is that how long ago that was?
Mutant Swinger from Mars. Might as well just keep my page up. I think Mutant Swinger from Mars is 2009. Scrolling. Yeah, so I finally finished Mutant Swinger from Mars, as in it was done years prior, but I kept messing with it because no one was going to buy it. So I'd tweak it and tighten it and enhance it and add little effects things here and sound effects there. And I just ended up spending years George Lucasing it, a.k.a. finessing it. Mine was more finessing than just fucking with the movie and adding crazy digital characters that weren't necessary. Because I didn't have any money for that. But I massaged the crap out of it. And I submitted it to the San Diego Comic-Con Film Festival. And in 2009, it got accepted. Well, my goal was to do like a little mini web series. I needed to advertise it. And social media just wasn't... I needed more. So we did like a 9 or 10 part fake War of the Worlds style TV news thing. And that's what you were in.
That was up at the observatory?
We shot your part up at the observatory where we almost got kicked out.
What about when we the first time used the black magic? We were in that house over off of Magnolia and Tahunga. I was sitting on a chair wearing a shirt and tie.
Oh, that was for that was for a movie called Rednecks versus Aliens.
Oh, okay.
Where I shot a teaser. It was basically a sizzle reel for that.
Right.
And we're currently trying to make that into a movie right now as we speak.
Okay.
We just formed me and a couple partners, Matt Hazelrig and James Wilder Hancock, just formed a new partnership.
He didn't get made fun of in high school.
No, he didn't.
James Wilder Hancock.
He and I and Matt started a company called Modern Classic Pictures. We're trying to make Rednecks versus Aliens the first modern classic picture.
I was going to say Reservoir Dogs, because I was eating at Pat in the Range today. So.
I shot a short film there.
Did you?
Yep. Shot a short film there that I just before the pandemic hit. So I'm finishing that up now too.
So we're up at the observatory, and we're about to film this thing. There's 8,000 people up there with cameras, and the friggin' park rangers come up and go, "Hey, you guys can't film here." We're like, "What the fuck?"
They didn't have real cameras. I had a video camera that looked like semi-professional. It was my Panasonic DVX 100.
And I was wearing the lab coat.
Yeah, and you were wearing the lab coat. We looked a little suspicious.
Then we just went up into the bushes.
Yeah, we literally were like, "Okay, sorry, sir," and we started to walk away. And then he drove down the mountain, and we're like, "He's gone. Let's do it." We shot it anyway because.
So you had one camera that looked professional, and there was 8,000 people walking around.
Well, that's the thing. Like I've noticed nowadays, especially nowadays, it's like if you have a camera, the people have signs that like Whiskey Go or in different streets. If you have a professional-looking camera, you can't shoot without permission. These idiots don't realize that iPhone 15, the iPhone 14, people are shooting movies on them.
Right.
It's like you know, damned if you do, damned if you don't, and
Right.
fuck them if they can't take a joke. But I just did this Inner Demons horror film that we shot for $9,000, and half my locations were guerrilla.
Sure.
We jumped on the subway. Me
Yeah.
and my lead actress went down to the subway in Hollywood and shot a couple of shots. Her sitting on the subway all sad and shit. No one said boo.
Nobody said boo.
No, and it's in the movie, and it looks great. It looks like I had serious production value.
Yeah.
Because I stole a bunch. Same with this Christmas movie that I'm trying to finish up right now. Stole half the locations because we didn't have any fucking money.
I was talking about it last podcast when me and Dale were standing outside that store in Pasadena. All the kids were driving by. People were honking.
Oh, yes.
waving.
You guys dressed as Santa Claus?
Two Santa Claus standing outside. Kids were so happy when they drove by.
Wasn't that in like June?
Oh, yeah. It was hot.
It was hot.
It was hot in the Santa outfit, but still, parents didn't accept it when I flipped them all off. Hey, kid.
Fuck you, kid. I got something for Christmas for you. It's this finger.
I got it right here.
Where's Scott going?
He's had enough.
He's like,
I don't blame him. Whoa.
This is bullshit. I'm out of here. I'll do another one of these. I'm all jacked up on caffeine now. We'll go for another 4 hours.
No, I got water. I'm good.
Like you've ever had a bottle of water before you. What? Bitch, I will fuck you up.
Bitch, I will fuck you up. So I proposed to my wife. Oh, that's how she proposed to me.
No.
Want to get married? Bitch, I will fuck you up. Okay, we're getting married.
What was the first project you worked on, like professionally with the budget?
Professionally with a budget. Oh, I got a fun story for that. I have two stories, actually. The very first movie I worked on at the time was called Them. Not the 1958 giant ant movie. I would have not been born yet. But I was going to Oakland Community College in Farmington Hills, and they were looking for PAs for this horror movie that was going to be shot in Pontiac at a functioning insane asylum.
Nice.
Not the whole thing, but a majority of the property was still being used for the mentally crazed.
I used to live on one of those in Santa Clara.
I live one now in my house every day. No, so I was really excited because, horror movie being shot in Michigan, and I was just young and hungry to work on something. And I got hired as a PA, and I ended up doing like artwork for it, and I befriended the special effects people. I got to know them, and they're still lifelong friends. But the cool thing about it was the stars of the movie, the names that were in it were David Emge from Dawn of the Dead. He was the helicopter pilot in Dawn of the Dead. And John Saxon.
John Saxon from Enter the Dragon?
Yes,
John
from
Saxon?
Enter the Dragon. And he played a reoccurring bad guy in the A-Team, the original A-Team. He was Nancy's father in the original Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, John Saxon.
Yeah, he's done a ton of stuff.
John Saxon's been around for 1,000 years.
Right.
Well, he was in the movie, but he had gone home. So the director was like, and this was when I was younger and thinner and svelter, but I ended up being John Saxon's stand-in for like his hands and stuff and his body. And that was kind of cool because I was like, oh my God, I'm standing in for an actor. Maybe it'll say John Saxon stand-in, Mike Kallio. No, PA. That's all I got, but that's all right. But I'm still friends with Doug Schultz, who's the director of that film. He just did a movie called Thorns, with Doug Bradley, who played Pinhead in the original 19 Hellraiser movies that they made. And that's doing some really nice film festival stuff. It's getting a lot of buzz. But yeah, that was my first exciting story, and that had a budget. It wasn't a huge budget, but I think they had like $500,000, or maybe it might have been less. But it ended up becoming kind of a cult thing. It aired on Showtime a lot back in the early 90s. And so that was exciting, seeing my name on an actual cable movie.
Cool.
And this is like the most uninteresting but fun story. I got a call from my friend Christine Clausen, who back in Michigan, she was a casting director. She's out here now producing stuff, but she was a casting director one of my first friends in the biz back in Michigan. And she goes, "Hey, Mike, we need people and their cars for a traffic jam scene for a Penny Marshall movie." And I was like, "Cool, yeah, where do I go?" And she gave me the information. And I drove my 1979 Dodge Aspen that I had gotten. I bought it from the guy. I bought him a burger and a beer. And he gave me the car. It had holes in the floorboards. It was a white with red plaid interior. Well, white and rust with red plaid interior. It was a choice chick magnet mobile. But I ended up driving to the location. I never met Penny Marshall. It was Renaissance Man with Danny DeVito. DeVito was there. Penny Marshall was obviously there. I didn't meet either of them. Didn't even see them. But we sat in traffic, this fake traffic jam for like 9 hours. And every once in a while they'd come by with water and a snack and that. But I was super excited about sitting in traffic. And then I moved out here. And every time I leave the house, I want to blow my brains out. At least when I'm on the freeway. But yeah, those are the big budget movies I worked on in the very beginning.
What was the first budget you had to work on a film? Okay.
What is a budget?
Yeah, but I like that story anyway. So
Yeah.
Well, my first movie, when it was all said and done, cost probably about $250,000, but we got it in the can for $80,000.
All right.
My budgets have slowly gone downhill from there. My 50 sci-fi spoof Mutant Swinger from Mars was cash in $22,000, and then they just kept going down. Now lately they're going back up, but slowly. Slowly. I'm a master of making, I guess, all right movies out of nothing. Matter of fact, no, I'm going to take that back. I am a master of that because I've gotten pretty good at it over the years, learning how to make movies with nothing. Because no one's thrown money at me yet, and they are now, but it's still small budgets, micro budgets. Or as my recent actress friend / ingenue, Jessica Moore, called it, you don't make micro budget films, you make microscopic budget films. So that's a shout out to Jessica. I told you I'd steal that.
Jessica, I am your priest.
That's true. In Inner Demons.
That is true. Why you want to make it weird?
The way you said it made it weird. I don't think it.
No, Mike, it didn't make it weird.
Now it's weird.
I am her priest. She gets possessed while I'm holding her arms. Fucking freaks me out.
Ah,
Yeah,
So-
it's scary.
Yeah,
that happens to you a lot, doesn't it?
it does.
Yeah,
It does.
Especially when it's impersonating a priest.
yeah.
Not impersonating a priest. I am.
Father Hot Pants. That's what I like to call him.
That's what they call me on the circuit.
The circuit, eh?
Yeah,
We'll have to discuss that later.
not necessary.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. What else should we talk about, huh?
I was talking about films. So your association with Bruce Campbell. You were in They Call Me Bruce, which is a very fun movie.
My name is Bruce.
My name is Bruce. sorry.
It's always been confusing because I'll say, "Oh, I'm in that movie. My name is Bruce," and they're like, "They call me Bruce." I'm like, no, that's a different movie from a completely different era. That was my favorite. What I did in my summer vacation story.
Yeah.
They've been planning on making a movie. Dark Horse Entertainment / Dark Horse Comics. Mike Richardson, who owns Dark Horse, and Bruce were friends, and they always wanted to do something together, and they finally got this idea and put it together. And Bruce called me and said, "All right, you're coming out here in June in Oregon, where he's from,
Right.
or where he's living, or was living." Said, "Yeah, you'll be out here for like 2 months. I want you to do all the behind the scenes. You're going to make a documentary about the making of the movie, and oh yeah, and you're going to be in it." And I was like, "Ha ha ha, what? What am I? Who? What? What? I'm not an actor. Yeah, obviously
But you are a director.
I am." I said, "You produced my first movie that I acted in. You know I'm not an actor." And he's like, "You're not a bad actor." And I was like, "Well, that's nice of you to say. I owe you $5, but what am I playing in this movie?" And he goes, "Oh, you're going to be this cheeseball B-movie director." I'm like, "Oh, I can do that. I can do that for sure." But I'm peppered throughout the movie. I'm in that movie a handful of times.
Yeah.
I'm a townie because it takes place in this small Oregon town. So I played a townie, and then I played the bad B-movie director. Where I think it was the last day of shooting. I cut my hair
Yeah.
up to a bob. I Trimmed all this to like pencil thin. I look like a Backstreet Boy reject. It was terrible. But for the art.
Yeah, but
For
the
acting.
movie was fun. So they think he's a zombie killer, right?
Yeah, demon killer, monster killer.
Demons,
Yeah.
right.
It's basically the Three Amigos.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of plot device. He's kidnapped by a couple of kids that accidentally summon the Chinese god of war, Guan Di.
Was that in the hills of Griffith Park? The no,
No.
The Velocipaster.
No, they had $5 more than that on My Name is Bruce than they did on Velocipaster. Maybe 6. But yeah, they accidentally summoned Guan Di, the Chinese god of war, and the god of bean curd, which, that's scary right there, I guess. And they throw him in the trunk of a car, and he shows up. He thinks it's a birthday present. So he starts to play along, and then when he realizes the demon is real, he does what any normal person would do. Run like hell. So, or, anything Bruce would do. Be a coward and run like hell.
When they pitched the movie, they said you got a headshot and a you go. Go.
Pretty much. But I was there for almost 2.5 months.
You were up there for that long?
Yeah.
Okay.
Living just outside of Jacksonville, Oregon. He had a place in Little Applegate, and then half the crew was in Jacksonville and half the crew was in Medford, which is also known as Methford.
Well,
they make a lot of methamphetamines up there.
I'm guessing.
But yeah, that was cool. It was a good time. I mean,
that's right. No dietary problems up there.
I got to fuck around for 2.5 months, just shooting. I was making my own movie.
Right.
About Bruce making his own movie.
Right.
And there was a lot of friendlies. Danny Hicks, God rest his soul, he was up there. Tim Quill, God rest his soul, he was up there. And Danny was Jake in Evil Dead 2 and had done Darkman and some other of Sam Raimi's movies. And same with Tim. Tim went to high school with those guys, so it was family. Ellen Sandweiss played Cheryl, which is her character name in Evil Dead. She played Cheryl, Bruce's ex-wife, and My Name is Bruce. Kurt Ralph shot it. Kurt and Bruce had met, and Sam and Rob and Bruce, while they were doing pickups. I think Kurt was in high school. He's a fake Shemp, so he got to put on the monster makeup at one point, and he's actually in the movie playing one of the girls when she gets shot in the face. So it was a lot of family. It was a lot of fun. You can't go wrong with that. Making movies with your family, basically, your surrogate family.
No, that's what happened when I worked with Franco all those years.
And that's what happens with us.
Right.
I mean, I've known you since I moved here, pretty much.
Right.
We're practically family.
Right.
You are my father.
Well, yeah, son. But no, yeah, every time you call, we just get
just
together.
have fun.
We just get together and shoot. Sometimes I'm an alcoholic Santa Claus, and sometimes I'm a priest trying not to get possessed.
But always a scientist. Well, you're a scientist more than you have been other things for me.
Geology is science for bitches.
Fair enough.
That's from another production here. So,
Oh, cool.
what are some of your influences? And I don't want to say that you stole from, but no.
I call it paying homage.
Scorsese gets from Kurosawa, right? I mean, everybody gets,
as did Lucas.
right. Well, Tarantino gets from
whoever made movies in the 70s. Everyone who made movies in the 70s.
yeah, and everybody in China and Japan who made, you know what I mean? And so, no, I'm asking, what movies that you saw that influenced you on how you wanted to shoot and what you wanted to do, and
Well, as we said, Star Wars was like the big.
right,
That was the catalyst that said, "This is your path." But I remember seeing Close Encounters when I was really young. It was
Right.
the special edition. Raiders of the Lost Ark, perfect film.
yeah,
Even though Indy doesn't even really need to be there, the Nazis would end up dead anyway. I don't care. That movie I have to watch it. If it's on,
oh yeah,
I have to watch it.
yeah,
Influence-wise, stylistic-wise, it depends on what I'm making. I try and be a chameleon in that aspect where, like, a lot of filmmakers are pigeonholed and a lot of filmmakers are pigeonholed as a genre filmmaker.
Sure.
They make horror, they make sci-fi, or they
Yeah.
make action or whatever. I try not to do that. Like, my first movie was, I don't consider it a horror movie, although it is, but I consider it more psychological thriller than horror. Because there's fantastical elements. I think it leans more towards horror.
Would you call Pretty Woman a horror movie?
I would call it a horror movie.
Yeah, okay.
Or a movie about a whore.
Okay, just checking.
With a heart of gold. Have you ever read the original draft of that script
I have not.
before Gary Marshall got it?
I have not.
It was a much different film. Touchstone wouldn't have touched it.
They wouldn't have touched it with a stone.
Or a 10-foot pole. So I made a 50s sci-fi spoof. My influences there were William Castle and Hitchcock and Ed Wood. This Christmas movie we just made, I did not watch a single frame of a Hallmark or Lifetime movie because those things do very well, but I'm not Hallmark or Lifetime. I wanted to make something fantastical. My inspiration for the Christmas movie was Steve Martin's L.A. Story that he wrote and I believe Mick Jackson directed. But the Elf influenced the Christmas movie because there's fantastical elements in it. Rankin and Bass influenced the Christmas movie because we have a stop motion character peppered through the whole movie.
He's great.
Yeah, Andy the agitated elf. He's peppered throughout the movie.
What's his real name?
Aaron.
He's good.
Or Laffy Pants.
Yeah, he's good. He's really good.
Yeah. So it all depends. You know, the horror film that I just finished and turned in absolutely just now, like an hour ago. I was a huge fan of the movie Carnival of Souls as a kid from 1960. So much so that at one point before my first movie, I was trying to get the rights to remake that movie as my first movie. And it's similar to Jacob's Ladder, where it's kind of a strange death dream. Hope I'm not spoiling anything for anyone. But I was influenced by Jacob's Ladder and Carnival of Souls. Two very diverse films. Carnival of Souls, black and white, 1960, feels more like the original Night of the Living Dead. Whereas Jacob's Ladder is, again, kind of surreal imagery. Even though it's like religious imagery, you have angels and devils and things like that. Carnival of Souls, more ghouls and things. I kind of took those movies and smashed them together. And then added some of my favorite stuff from Evil Dead and Drag Me to Hell, both Sam Raimi movies. That's how I get influenced. I'm influenced by film, just film and how stories are told, as opposed to, I always used to be, I want to be the next Steven Spielberg, or I want to be the next Sam Raimi. I want to be the best Mike Kallio now as an artist and a filmmaker, and take those homages, but I'm not going to watch a bunch of horror movies before I make a love story.
Well, no, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's how I those people are like, well, who are your influences? Anyone who's ever made a movie is my influence, no matter how crappy it is or not. My friends I used to rent movies that were sometimes, thought of as terrible B movie, like below B movies. Some of the trauma stuff is really bad, things like that. And I'd rent them and be like, guys, you have to see this. And we'd watch. They started calling them Kallio classics because they wouldn't particularly rent them. But I see something in everything I see, no matter how bad or how good it is. So film just influences me in general. Telling stories specific ways influences me. Hitchcock had his style. I don't think you'd see Hitchcock ever directing like a science fiction movie.
Right.
Whereas, Kurosawa did his thing. Scorsese does his thing. I don't think there's a Martin Scorsese science fiction movie or a horror movie.
Just Shutter Island.
Shutter Island, yeah. He was influenced by all the stuff he saw when he was working for Corman. Mm-hmm. So my influences are film in general.
My son took Roger Corman on a test drive. He was like 96 or something. In an Audi, Roger Corman came in. I'm like, I was in a Corman film, right?
No, which one?
Running Woman, Teresa Russell.
Which one? Oh, out of the 4,000 movies he's worked on.
Right.
I don't think I've heard of that one.
Yeah.
Well, Corman was just at Dark Delicacies, this horror bookstore in Burbank.
Oh.
And he was.
Wait, weren't you there? We did a DVD signing for a film, me and Eric Edwards and Kristen Minter. It's on Magnolia, right?
It was on Magnolia. It's on Hollywood Way now.
Okay. All right.
I wasn't there. But Corman, this guy by the name of Chris, wrote a book about specifically Corman's Edgar Allan Poe movies that from the 60s that Vincent Price starred in a lot.
Jack Nicholson was in one of those? No?
I don't think he was in any of the Poe stuff.
Okay.
He did The Terror with Karloff.
Right.
That was in the 60s as well, I
I
believe.
thought he was in The Raven or something.
Maybe. But Corman was there. This was like a couple of months ago.
Right.
Corman was there. He's 98.
Okay.
Still very alert. Still very nice. I got to talk to him for 20 minutes. Those Edgar Allan Poe movies were a huge influence on my first film. Because I never liked horror. As a kid, I never liked horror. I was afraid of it.
Me too. That's why I don't watch your films. The ones I'm in.
Well, you have to try. You have to.
Okay, go ahead.
But my thing was, and it's actually in a book. I have a friend, Christian Ackerman, who compiled a bunch of essays from various filmmakers and actors in the biz. And they're called My Favorite Horror Movie. And I'm in volume 3, and mine was about Evil Dead, because I was at a birthday party, and my friend's like, we're going to watch Evil Dead after we have cake and ice cream. And I was like, the fuck I am. I'm leaving. I don't like horror movies. I could watch the Edgar Allan Poe stuff. I could watch the classic Universal monster movies, because they were tragic. And I was kind of a loner, and I was bullied as a kid. And so I was in my own little headspace when I'd watch those movies. And usually the monsters were getting revenge for people being assholes to them. But that night, I was like, I'm not going to watch Evil Dead. I'm going to blow after the cake and ice cream. And he was like, well, this girl that you like is here, and she's going to stay, and kind of egged me on, like, you got to stay. She likes you. And that's when it all changed. And Evil Dead started, and everyone was scared except for me. I just laughed. And the next day, it was like, go to the video store, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Night of the Living Dead. Anything I could get my hands on that was more, more taboo in my brain. Because I remember walking out of Raiders of the Lost Ark in 1981, and there was a Poltergeist poster in the theater lobby. And my mom was like, ooh, that looks scary. You want to go see that? Steven Spielberg produced it. I'm like, no. Looks terrifying. I don't want to see that. I love that movie. I love horror.
So I was living in the old mental institution, which was still partly used. We were staying in the old dorms. It was state housing. So we went to the local pizza joint, and they were playing Poltergeist. And horror movies freaked me out. And I watched the movie and went back, and I was living in a mental institution.
How'd that work out for you?
It was a lot of beer to go to sleep. A lot of beer to go to sleep.
But that's when the demons get you.
Dude, you're out in those halls with those linoleum floors and part linoleum walls.
One night, I can't remember what the place was called, but the insane asylum in Pontiac. One night, me and another PA were like, let's go explore.
Insane asylum, Pontiac, Michigan. Go ahead.
Yeah, look that shit up. I think it's still there, actually. We started exploring. We didn't have like flashlights or anything. We had lighters. I found a straitjacket. That's it. Clinton Valley Center. Look at this place.
Jesus Christ. That is terrifying.
I know, isn't it cool? It screams gothic.
That is terrifying.
We were wandering around the basements and stuff, looking for stuff.
Look up Agnew's State Hospital. Agnew's State Hospital.
And I found a straitjacket. They were really happy, too, because they were like, we can use this. I'm like, what? I was going to take it home, but I didn't get to keep it.
Okay.
That's not as gothic as where I work.
No, it's not. I didn't say it was gothic. Look at the picture on the right in the middle, top middle. Right there.
That was your room?
And then look, you just had it up. There was one at the bottom where it was kind of rubble on it.
Is it still there?
Sun Microsystems bought it, saved a lot of the buildings.
Oh, that's cool.
And they saved the clock tower. They took down the water tower. Yeah, that one. That was my room straight ahead.
I was going to say, you stayed at where the rubble is now?
There.
That's cool.
No, actually, it was off to the left. There's some pictures right the stairs to my place.
Were they renting rooms there?
No, it was, it was a state institution.
Oh, okay.
So they used half of it for state housing and offices, and that's where the California Conservation Corps, we all stayed there. And the other half was still a mental institution. And the women, there it is. That's me right there. Right there. And that was my dorm after watching Poltergeist. The women would come over on their bicycles and chase us around.
The crazy women?
Yeah, they'd want to have sex.
Oh.
Because,
So that's how you got laid.
well, somebody had to do it.
Thanks, state of California.
But they would chase us around because all they knew is sex felt good. And they would try to get, and then we
What the
saw
hell kind of podcast is this?
we saw the men one night out in the bar, and we caught a guy
the
bending
menfolk?
bending over another guy. And he was fucking him.
Was he
As
dressed
went
as a
back
lady?
He
on
was
a bike?
not. He was just a man having sex with a man. Mike, nothing wrong with it. Very popular nowadays.
I've heard that.
And we were playing basketball. Some of these guys were good athletes. There was a gym right behind that. And we were playing basketball with some of the patients there. And this guy was sweating so bad he went and lay down. He was so tired. Another little guy went over there and started licking his stomach. And this tall black dude was running down court. He looked over and said, "Hey, Al Green, we don't play that shit here." That was my
Podcast brought to you by
That was my time.
the state of
at the
California's
mental
housing.
You know what the scariest thing about that place was? They had a crematorium.
Well, I think all of them did back then, didn't they?
Yeah, and you know what happened, right? They beat him to death, and then they burned the body. There was no mass communication, and the family would come in their 1935 Model A, and they'd come up, and they'd be like, "Hey, we're here to see Billy." "Oh, Billy passed. What happened?" "Had the influenza." "And his body?" "Oh, well,
Had to burn it.
they had to burn it. He was sick. Couldn't see the gashes in his skull.
Nothing like a little state hospital corruption to spruce up a podcast.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah, it sure was.
I don't know if we saw the crematorium, but we were in some creep. It was dark.
Our tool shed was right next to the crematorium, so we'd have to load up in the morning and unload every night out of the vehicle. And I'd just stand there, I'd look at that smokestack, and I'm like, some shit went down here. So, what else we got going on in the future?
The future. I predict. No, I'm not going to go there. The future. The future of what? Me? Of me? The future of me.
What does the future hold for you?
I'm hoping more movies. Like I said, I just finished a horror film called Inner Demons. I don't know when it's going to be released, but currently finished and hopefully around Halloween time, I'm hoping. The Christmas movie called An LA Christmas Story. I basically took an LA story and stole the name and threw Christmas in it. Because surprisingly enough, when I looked it up on IMDb, it was not an existing title. So I knew, serendipitously, it was meant to be. Mm-hmm. That's coming together real well, and that's got distribution from a company. I probably shouldn't say the name because they haven't released.
Walt Disney Corporation?
It's not Walt. It's someone way cooler.
20th Century Fox?
Not them. This company. Yeah, you just keep them at Touchstone.
Touchstone?
All owned by Disney. No, it's a company that hasn't released their press release yet.
Searchlight? Picture.
That's Disney too. But this company used to be very big. Shouldn't say what.
Taroka?
That company doesn't even exist anymore. We wouldn't have the Blu-ray special editions and collector's editions the way we do now from a lot of these boutique companies if it wasn't for this company from before. And their brand is still very strong. So I'll leave it at that they've picked up the Christmas movie, a documentary I've been working on since 2015, end of 2015, called Dinner with Leatherface.
Nice.
Which is about Gunnar Hansen, who is the original Leatherface. He was in my first film. Are we taking selfies now?
I'm trying to get us all in there.
I think you have to turn it the other way.
Yeah. Only 'cause
We need an 11-year-old girl to help us out here.
David Nelson just texted me, so you can get all three of us in there. Yeah, you have an Android.
How about this? Why don't you do one of these?
Oh, here we go.
There we go. It's called a filmmaker's technique. Oh yeah, Christmas movie. I like Christmas Story. Dinner with Leatherface. Inner Demons. Working on this Rednecks versus Aliens thing.
You didn't get Zach in here. Yes.
Take
Didn't even notice.
another one.
So you're gonna have to move a little bit.
Well, I will move. All you got to do is tell me.
You're good. You're good.
Just get my good side.
More about the good cheese.
Selfie time.
What I would like to do, what are some of your influences?
Some of my influences?
Yeah. Maybe you guys could discuss.
He's wearing a Critter shirt. It's obviously Critters
That's
2,
that's
the
good.
main
That's
course.
good.
Yeah.
But I'd like you guys to maybe discuss some films. Or maybe the Evil Dead series.
The Evil Dead series is... I like Sam Raimi's work.
What's your favorite Sam Raimi movie?
I don't know all of his movies. Mostly the Spider-Man stuff and then the Evil Dead stuff is what I'm... I haven't seen... What was it? Darkman? I haven't seen them, no. There's a billion movies that are on my list that I need to see.
I saw Darkman 15 times in the theater, and that old dude was dead or gone. I mean, it was 1990. That was. I saw Darkman several times. You need to see Darkman.
Dan
Okay.
Bell was in that.
And what part?
He was one of the henchmen. The
Tall guy with the long hair.
Yeah.
Long hair.
Yeah.
That's right. He was in
And
that.
he's a big casting director now.
Yeah.
Commercial casting director. He's huge.
And he was also in Wayne's World.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was Bohemian Rhapsody in the back seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so...
What's your favorite Evil Dead movie?
Second one.
Ah, that is the correct answer. Evil Dead 2 is a huge influence on me
Yeah.
as a filmmaker because it's so weird.
The Thing is another big influence of mine.
The original thing?
The John Carpenter one?
That's not the original thing.
Yeah, that's why the John Carpenter one.
The John Carpenter one's amazing. Matter of fact, I went down the rabbit hole the other day. One of my favorite effects people, because I used to do that back in the day, it was Rob Bottin. RoboCop legend, the original thing. He's Captain Blake in The Fog and did the makeup effects for The Fog. He's just gone. I know people who know where he is, but they just won't say it. The big rumor is he was working on something. I think one of the last big movies he did was Seven. The guy with all of the air freshener hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah,
Apparently he did that work, but was working on something, and someone showed him and the director a CGI test that would enhance his work, and he went, I'm out. And he's in real estate now. I don't even think he lives in California anymore.
Oh, wow.
But he was a master.
Yeah.
He sent Rick Baker when he was a kid. He sent Rick, and Rick wasn't that much older than Rob, but he'd send him a sketch and some pictures of what he did and asked for advice. And Rick was like, I got some advice. Come work for me. So Rick Baker does An American Werewolf in London, one of the greatest werewolf transformations ever. Rob
Scared the fuck out of me.
Rob did The Howling.
Okay. Two movies I've seen.
Which was, no disrespect to Rick Baker because he's a master. The Howling was better when I watched it, when a lot of people watched it, because it's faster. It's a faster transformation. Because Rob worked with the DP and said, we got to undercrank this to make it look faster, which is something that An American Werewolf didn't. It was a much longer, more, and on purpose, obviously, John Landis was like, let's make this, and Rick working together, Rick Baker, make this torturous. He's in pain. It's a slow pain that he's transforming into this werewolf. Whereas with Rob Bottin and Joe Dante's The Howling, and that work that they did on Robert Picardo, played the killer / werewolf. That stuff was crazy because everything was bubbling and everything was a little faster. And I think it was only a year or two after An American Werewolf in London. But, you know, Rob was a master. I mean, not that Rick isn't, but Rob with just legend. Mm-hmm. The Tim Curry, the darkness with the horns. You've seen Legend, haven't you?
No.
Tom Cruise.
No.
It's a fantasy movie.
No, I haven't seen
Tim Curry show him.
You can get angry at me.
No, I'm not going to get angry at you. God damn it. No, I'm kind of angry too. Legend was one of those effects movies. I think it came out in 85 or 86. It was one of Tom Cruise's first like starring roles. That's Tim Curry.
Yeah.
I've seen the pictures.
That's a 9-hour makeup job from when they started putting it on. He would fall asleep. He would just sleep until he was done, and he had to get up and act in that.
All right.
Rob made the RoboCop suit.
Okay.
Like he
Love RoboCop.
Yeah, he was a master. Total Recall was Rob Bottin.
Oh man.
Like the eyes bugging out, that was all practical. There was no CGI then.
Right.
When Rob saw that CGI shit,
when the head turns around, it goes
all practical. You're in for a surprise. Phil Tippett, the master stop motion artist who did the chess pieces for Star Wars, and he did the Ed 209 and RoboCop, was supposed to do the stop motion for Jurassic Park, and saw the CGI work that ILM had created and went, well, I guess I'm extinct. And Phil still does shit, but I mean, Phil's a master. But that's that, again, earlier we were talking about tools. I don't see AI doing much more than that. It's just being a faster tool to get things done, or maybe not even faster. There's some pretty interesting. I have de-aging in my $9,000 horror movie. It's only 3 or 4 shots.
right.
But that's enough to sell the fact that I had an actress who isn't 19 or 20 anymore, but I have her in the movie as 19 or 20.
Right.
And for a $9,000 movie, that's unheard of. But you have this now, you can point it at yourself, and you have a little bear head or something, ears, and de-aging. The technology is just getting better to be used as a tool. I don't think AI is going to be more than that. It's not going to take anything over. They thought TV was going to ruin movies. They thought cassettes or CDs were going to ruin vinyl. It's never going to go away.
No.
Never going to go away. Not if I can help it. I was talking to a girl who, grocery store clerk, was like, she had a Bride of Frankenstein shirt on. Did you ever see the real Frankenstein, the original? She's like, no, I don't like black and white movies. And I was like, you should watch the original Frankenstein. Bride of Frankenstein, that was a black and white movie. Well, I liked that one. Did you ever read the book, Frankenstein? There's a book? Oy. Yes, please read it. It's required reading in most high schools, or at least it used to be.
Can you set up the preacher?
What's happening?
Never you mind. One of my best jokes that Scott refuses to put on the podcast when Jimmy Savile, what is it, an English horror story is what it's called. Yeah, Jimmy Savile, the guy who molested, he's the big star. And he raised like $10 million for people who were paralyzed, a paralyzed hospital. And so he would go into the rooms with people with, they were quadriplegics. And he'd hang up a towel. And then he'd go down to the other end. And they'd say, Jimmy, what are you doing down there? And he'd say, never you mind.
I need to tell an adult.
I made that up.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's funny. So, you want to know what my very first introduction into wanting to get into film was?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with like Full Moon?
Yes, I am.
Have you seen the movie Bad Channels?
Yes, I have.
My dad was one of the bands in that movie. His band, with the cow at the asylum, that was his band.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's been a while, but yeah, I know Bad Channels.
Yeah, that was my first introduction to like wanting to get into film, is
because of Charlie Band. That guy who wrote the Roger Corman book that I met works for Charlie.
Okay.
I tried to coerce my way into does Charlie look for directors? Because I'm looking for the next gig. And he's like, oh yeah, send me your stuff. And I sent him my stuff. I never heard from him again. So either A, I really am not good at this shit. I suck. Or B, Charlie went, he's too good. Can't use him. I have a feeling it's both. He was like, fuck that guy. No, I worked on 2 Charlie Band movies, Full Moon movies, during the pandemic.
Oh, cool.
Can you talk about Full Moon, the production house that was on Sunset and Orange?
The one that did like...
Well, I just know the
Puppet
company
Master and stuff.
I used to.
Maybe Full Moon Entertainment. Were they
I
there?
thought it was Full Moon. On Sunset. It's a shoe store now. It's a drag when these big production house, not big, but independent production houses go down. Because it's just cool that they're there. They're making films.
Charlie's been around since the mid to late 70s. I worked on Corona Zombies,
Okay.
and I worked on Barbie and Kendra Save the Tiger King. So I did various voices for those movies.
Okay.
Charlie basically took, for Corona Zombies, he took a movie called Strippers versus Zombies from like 2008, and a 1980 Italian zombie movie called Isle of the Dead or City. It's got various names. And then shot his girlfriend, who's this young.
Whoa.
Filmed this girlfriend, who's this young starlet type, B-movie starlet type,
Right.
and cobbled this movie together and had actors at their home redub the voices for the Italian movie. Because Strippers versus Zombies, just what he used was basically just horror and gore and girls being attacked by zombies.
Yeah.
And then the Kendra and Barbie Save the Tiger King. It was two jungle movies that he that he cobbled together with a wraparound with his girlfriend and her best friend.
A reach around?
No, not a reach around. And then I worked on Ginger Dead Man 2.
Yeah.
I did effects
Okay.
work on Ginger Dead Man 2
Okay.
with my buddy John Vulich. God rest his soul.
Jesus, man. Everybody works. He's dead.
Well,
Better watch out.
a lot of old school effects guys used to breathe. I used to breathe in arsenic gas and all this shit I didn't know about. They're dropping like flies. I have to rewatch Bad Channels now.
Yeah, do it. Yeah. It's a fun one.
Yeah, those earlier Full Moon movies were fun. Dollman,
Dollman, Trancers.
the first Trancers and the second Trancers,
Yeah.
I fucking love.
Yeah, they're great.
My friend Ken Hall wrote the original Puppet Master.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I don't know if he directed any of them. There's so many of them
Yeah.
now. I can't even keep up.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Well, when I met Roger, I was like, "You still doing it, Roger?" Thinking, I had this dream of seeing produced by Roger Corman on one of my movies. But he's 98. He's like, "I only do like one picture a year."
I worked on his lot as an electrician.
Oh, did you?
In the 70s.
The old lumberyard
Yeah.
out in Santa Monica
Venice.
or Venice, yeah.
Right out, like Santa Monica, Venice.
New
border.
Concord, New Horizons,
Yeah, Concord Pictures, right?
and New Horizons. It was both.
Okay. I met Ray Walston. I was pretty excited about that.
That's cool.
I was just working there, and he came out wearing like a spaceman outfit. He was out to smoke, and I was like, damn, that's Ray Walston. That's it. King? You're on the podcast with Mike Kallio, my other son, and Zak Meister.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, you guys are going late.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we're all vampires here. All right.
I'm a werewolf.
Of London.
Well, I used to be a werewolf, but I'm okay now.
Yeah, we're just about wrapping it up, Chef. Should I call you in a
Okay,
bit?
Joe.
All right.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Okay, Joe.
You want to say anything?
Yeah. Zak Meister.
Yep.
Halfwit.
Oh.
The artist formerly
I didn't recognize him at first.
Okay.
What's up?
What's up?
He didn't know that was you.
No, because I saw your name as King C, and I didn't know he called you that.
You know what it stands for?
No.
Take a wild guess.
I have a feeling I know.
Say it.
King Cunt?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
That's what I was gonna.
Yeah.
And my phone is Duke of C.
Okay.
Zach,
That makes
you
sense.
want 5 more? You want 5 more?
Yeah.
Alright, bye.
All right. See it. Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah, I'm like, you want to say hi to Kyle? And you're like,
Oh, I didn't
No,
know. I didn't know
I
it was
know.
him at first.
I know.
I thought it was just some random person named King of C.
I'm King of C. Well,
Before we wrap it up, Mike, if you want to look into your hero camera and give us any kind of social media or anything you want to promote.
Yeah. Where can we find your movies?
I don't know where you can find my movies. I have no fucking clue. They're all scattered across the interwebs or streaming services are not available. My first movie will be re-released sometime between now and the 7th of Never. I have to get on the ball of that. I have a Blu-ray deal for my first movie, Hatred of a Minute, through Synapse Films, and I just have to finish doing that when I have a minute. Mutant Swinger from Mars is available on Tubi and on Amazon, and then the company that I can't say the name of, they're releasing it at some point soon on Blu-ray. Finally, a physical media release after 20 years.
Miramax? The Weinsteins?
I don't think that company exists anymore. Same with the Christmas movie and what's the other thing? Oh, and Dinner with Leatherface. Those will be all on Blu-ray at some point very soon. Dinner with Leatherface, we're hoping for a theatrical release, a limited theatrical release next year to coincide with the 50th anniversary of the release of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I really don't have social media. Instagram. I'm on Instagram.
You're an idiot.
I know. Film Mike at Facebook. Film Mike is my Facebook name.
What's your Instagram?
I think it's Michael Kallio. It's not. I use it like never.
And then it becomes clear.
Look, when I started making movies, there was no such thing as social media. There wasn't even fucking internet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I need someone to do this for me.
No. I'm sure.
All right. Okay, cool.
He's not kidding.
You're hired.
No, he's not kidding. He
I'm,
would help you.
that's great.
Now, I'm going to tell you his dream right now. I'm just going to get it out there.
Is it meeting Bruce Campbell and spooning
Getting
with him?
It'd be getting Bruce in here.
He'll shake your hand, maybe. He'll give you a fist bump.
Where's he living nowadays?
He's back in Oregon.
Oh.
He was gonna move here. He was random story. He was renting Charlie Band's old house in like a mile from me for a little over a year, a couple of years ago, and I never saw him. I hardly ever saw him. He travels a lot. He was gonna move to Virginia. He's back in Oregon. He's in Ashland, but he lived. That was the other close place, like Ashland, Jacksonville, Medford, all very, very close together. So he's back in Oregon
I
again.
guess we could get him on Zoom.
That
If
I could easily do.
I'd love to have you be kind of the co-host for that.
Well, of course he would.
Sure,
Yeah, of course you would. Yeah, if you would. I'd have
of
that.
course. Well, you just did, sort of, in a roundabout. You all just asked me, and I say yes if I can get him on.
It doesn't have to be tomorrow.
No, I'll make it happen. He's mad. Why are you mad at me that I don't have social media? Do you have Instagram?
Because I love you. You're an artist who I like and I work with, and if you had it, maybe you would be doing better. And I don't think you're doing bad. I mean, maybe you'd be making more money and you'd be comfortable with your life. How's that?
It's just too much. I'd rather be making movies and showing them
Too
than
much. Too many people.
it's just Instagram is like it's just pictures.
I can't help you with that.
I would love it. That would be great because like I do have an Instagram. My Facebook.
He
is
doesn't know
my,
what it is, but he's got an Instagram.
Well, I just don't use it.
He doesn't know what it is, but he's got Instagram.
I know what it is. It's a bunch of pictures and then what? Snapchat? Those go away. I don't want a Snapchat.
Mike, thank you very much for coming tonight.
Who are you again? Where am I?
I'm your ride. You better be cool. You walking home from Fillmore.
That's what Ubers are for, baby.
That's it. Hey, you got $100 on you? You're taking an Uber.
I always have $100 on me because I know people like you will leave me in the fucking desert.
That's right. Well,
No. Thank you for having me, guys. It was a
thank
pleasure.
you, Zach, for coming out and co-hosting.
Of course, of course.
Zach, you need
Appreciate
to
that.
fucking let me know. You need to write down that information on that badass critter
Yep.
shirt.
Creepy Co.
That's right, Creepy Co.
Creepy Co.
I do get email from them, I think.
That's what we call me and my senior friends who go to bars.
Okay.
Creepy Co.
Oh yeah, well.
Yeah.
That's not what I call you.
Yeah.